Amazing.
What were
You
you What were you asking?
that was the first bars of the trombone concerto you were learning, like 3 years ago.
No, that was Arabesque by. Oh, Jesus,
Oh
who's this
shoot,
by? It's by some.
Claude Debussy. Is that the guy?
Definitely not Debussy. Um, Debussy.
You can
That's
hold the
me.
microphone, like, actually, if that's easier for you. I don't know.
No, I'll just do it like this. I'm just fiddling around.
Okay. You might need a. You can raise the mic stand, do all that crap, loosen that, make it higher or lower. We're here today with Tanner. It actually happened. Very surprising, since I was supposed to be busy these 2 days, and I actually got them off, which is amazing. Um, that intro you heard was played by Tanner, the piano god himself. Um, we were testing this out, and Tanner was doing his ASMR for you, but I cut that out, thankfully. You can talk if you want. I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if
I'm not.
that
It's
was
not
my
like a big.
intro,
Yeah, it's not a big intro. It doesn't really. It's whatever.
but yeah, my name is Tanner Hunter. I'm a music ed major at Olivet Nazarene University. Um, I'm a trombone. I'm a trombonist, and I guess a piano player now, as Ben just ordained me.
Yeah, I'll explain the what do you call it? The purpose of this, so you have some context. So the whole idea of this entire thing is to capture the essence of people at like certain ages, and just in general, in case people die. It's like emergency obituaries almost, in a sense.
Okay.
Like I don't know. Okay, so like the idea behind it started when I was listening to Bill Burr, and then he had kids when he was like 54 or something. So he's gonna die before they're fully fledged, right? And they'll have 10 years of Bill Burr podcast to listen to when he's gone. He didn't talk about this, but just something I thought about. And I think it'd be cool if we had it. Like I'm gonna do this with my grandpa within the next couple weeks, and then my other grandpa the next couple weeks. Gonna do it with Nathaniel pretty soon, which will be epic. I was supposed to do it with my older brother Jacob yesterday, but he didn't show up. So yeah, that's the whole idea. So it's to capture the isms and just who people are. So I think that'd be really cool because Gen Z doesn't really have long form media. You know, it's very 10-second Snapchat audios and dumb
Yeah.
blurry pictures. There's no like home videos or no one makes home videos anymore.
No.
So yeah, that is why I'm doing this and why I spent way too much money on this setup, even though it was the budget. It was the budget setup.
I was about to say it doesn't look that bad. I mean, you know, this mic setup could be better, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I did it 2 days ago with my friend Ray, and he has a big conference table, and we just set everything up on the conference table, and it worked really well.
Ooh.
I don't have a big table like that or a
Yeah.
space to do it, so I'm doing it with my friend Judah later, and he has a space to do it in where there's a big table.
Yeah.
So really, all I need is a big table, but my room isn't big enough for that, so I can't really do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My house right now is overrun by laboring men.
What was going on there?
Well, my dad is like, we got a leak on our porch, which is it's from coming from the balcony upstairs, and it ruined the drywall that's underneath, that's above our home gym area.
Okay.
So that like ceiling drywall collapsed, and now he took that opportunity to just start replacing every rotten board in the balcony and replacing any drywall that has even any sign of corrosion because I don't know, he's just
Because he's
insane.
Bob.
Yeah,
Dude, I need
this
to
is
have
what he
Bob on
does.
here. You know what I mean? You would probably think it was really
Like
cool.
the man, he does not put band-aids on anything. It's either 100% or absolutely nothing.
That's kind of how I am with stuff. That's why
Yeah.
This was a Band-Aid, and my dad actually had to convince me to get the Band-Aid version of this. The original setup was going to cost upwards of 100, $1,500. Um,
Yeah.
and my dad was saying, "Hey, you shouldn't do that because what if your grandparents die before you budget this out? You should just get the cheap one, get their stuff because something's better than nothing in this scenario."
Yeah.
So yeah, I was talking. It's funny because I keep talking to them about it. I'm like, "Hey, you're gonna die soon, so I want to get you your audio in the podcast," and they're actually really chill about it. My dad's dad, he was saying, he's like, "Oh no, I think about that all the time. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be fun." So
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't want to fulfill my own prophecy of dying young by doing this podcast. I don't know.
well, no, that's not the.
What's your
It's the emergency.
success?
Well,
Do people stay alive after doing this thing, or what?
yeah,
Like
I mean, no
the
one's
curse of the podcast? What's going?
no one was diagnosed with cancer. There's none of that
Okay.
happening.
Well,
This was I mean, there were so many origins to this. The originally this was supposed to go with the friend mural that I'm still working on. That should be done before Christmas, theoretically. I keep getting delayed on it. It was supposed to be done in May 9th, and it's now like December something, freaking 19th.
okay.
And so the delays have been huge. Have you seen any of the drafts?
I saw the artwork that was made.
Just like
I thought it was great.
I think I probably had 3 drafts sent since that one, just more detailed stuff. They keep telling me the final project is done. It's done. And it's exporting, but it's been exporting for like 2 weeks now. So I have no idea what's going on with that.
Yeah.
It's really annoying, but it exists. It's real.
Who did you get that done by? Did you find an artist?
Yeah,
or
I commissioned it through an artist.
an artist you knew, or just some
No, just
rando?
not complete rando. They had a seller history. I mean,
Okay.
they've done stuff. It wasn't like, "Hey, can you draw this?" It was through Fiverr, and they had a lot of 5-star ratings. So I was like, okay.
Okay.
Most people didn't want to do it because all the seller requests are like, "Hey, can you draw me my profile picture, me and my boyfriend, or whatever," right? Stuff like that. And I came in with a 50-slide PowerPoint. I need all of these people, all 24 of us, in this one picture, and a lot of them were like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that." So it was
Oh.
hard just finding anyone to do it.
Dang. Well, you found someone.
Yeah, the PowerPoint itself took forever. I had to choreograph the whole image. They were like, "Hey, I can't just draw this and hope you're happy with it. You need to give me like a sketch." I was like, "Well, this is why I'm contracting you because I can't draw." So it was just like a bunch of stick figures and names. I was like, "This is where this person goes. This is who they're talking to." Stuff like that.
That's great.
But something I've been thinking about recently. I want to talk to Mark about it specifically since he did he tell you he was teching for Mountain Ridge?
No, he did not.
Yeah, so he did that. I don't know if you saw his Instagram post. He posted about it, and they're like the brass gods of the state. So that was pretty epic. I was like, wow, you got them, cool. And I want to tech for Red Mountain because I know Hamilton,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not good anymore. You know,
What
I-
specifically would you tech for?
for drumline.
Drumline.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think what I'm offering in terms of like chops and drumming expertise would be very useful. I think more just mentality behind musicianship as a whole would be the most valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they need that,
Yeah.
because the guy who's there, Matt, he's a really good tenor player, but he's kind of just a player. He's like, "Oh, this is how I do it. Maybe this will help." And then Wardell's there like a day a week, so you know.
Yeah. What is Mark teching for? Is he teching visual or is he teching music?
He was a brass guy, pretty
Okay.
sure. He was one of 3, so he wasn't like the main guy.
All right.
From what he was saying, he said he showed up like I think it was like once or twice a week, so he wasn't like a constant the whole time there, but he was someone they expected to see.
Yeah. Okay. Techs are a lot of high schools would be like, "Oh, my school had 5 techs or whatever. Or my
Yeah.
school had eight brass techs." But honestly, less is more with those techs. in
Yeah, you
a
can't like.
marching band.
It's like asking for feedback on a creative project. Everyone's gonna give you a different answer.
Yeah. And sometimes it is good to have a lot of hands, but if they don't have a specific goal in mind, you just end up stepping on people's toes and it's a
Like
waste of money.
unless you're just splitting like people up because there's just too many kids. Is what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Like over the summer we had a teching disaster at band camp at our college.
You have techs at college?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, not that many techs, but we had three visual techs. Two of them were from out of state, paid and put up in a hotel,
Big
room and
boys.
board for a week and a half. One of them was a graduate who was paid, um, and he was supposed to be the main guy throughout the entire season. And the only problem with that is when he was in band, absolutely everyone hated him because,
Wait, so he was from the school?
yes,
Okay, and he came back. How recently did he graduate?
like 2 years ago.
Okay, so everyone still knew him.
Yeah, and they knew him as a dick because he is. He was a total ass.
Okay.
And basically, myself, was supposed to run fitness the first 2 days of
Ooh,
band camp,
Gym God. Okay.
which was, it was a good decision because I know like how much these kids after doing a summer of sitting can take. And he
Shout out to
took
Humphreys.
it upon himself to kind of step on my toes and try to take that over on the first 2 days. He was very insulting to me and didn't respect my plan for that. And when he ran fitness the rest of band camp, it was a disaster. He had no idea what he was doing. He was out of shape. He couldn't even do it himself. People,
Is he fat or is he just like
he's
just
chubby. He's
Okay.
chubby.
not just like the skinny fat where they
Yeah.
just don't do anything?
But he's like one of those
Move.
kids who did wrestling in high school
Okay.
and still thinks that they're in that shape, but they're not. Like he had this. I was in wrestling. We used to fucking do handstands and run a mile at the same time. We used to bear crawl up a fucking rock.
The
we used to
Illinois stuff.
We used to do buddy bear crawls for 400 yards. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I know a guy like that. He keeps like anytime he talks about PRs, it's the senior high school PRs.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you were in college now. Like, and I was talking to someone about this. Like, senior high school PRs aren't real PRs. They don't. No. Like, not even the fact that you're using improper technique, but there's some weird like super strength thing that just doesn't come again. I don't know. Like everyone's high school PRs are just exorbitantly high.
I feel like that's because number one, they're using bad form, and they're able to get weight up that like, causes a lot of pain. But
Some
they get it
herniated
up.
discs. Yeah.
Also, high schoolers are dumb and don't know how to add weights. So high schoolers are put like 325s, like 25-pound plates on. They'll be like, yeah, 400.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's something I never did weight
And
training
then-
in high school.
And then when it comes to benches, they'll like, the overzealous spotter that'll just obviously take 25 pounds off of the weight that you're benching. It's only a bench. Like, they'll just, put their hands on their being like, all you, bro.
All you, the all you bro guy.
I don't know. That's the high school PRs that I think about.
Yeah, I don't agree with the 1 rep PRs unless you're specifically powerlifting. It's just like I can bench, whatever. Every high school's like the 245s. I can bench 135. It's like you can barely pick it up once. Like I don't know if that's benching 135.
Yeah.
It's like I remember you went to Fremont, right?
No, I went to Shepherd.
No, you went to Shepherd. My the Fremont guy, he would always make us do like you'd have to do like 5 of it in order for it to be your PR.
That's smart.
But that was like junior high stuff, so I don't know.
Even
The ego lifting wasn't quite as large.
even with 5 rep maxes, you really got to be careful lifting heavy until you're about 16 years old.
Stunt your growth or what? Just mess something up.
Yeah, your growth plates are still open at that age, and when you're putting that heavy of loads on, you don't really want to close your growth plates
Mm.
at that age.
Like to the point where you shouldn't be doing it, or just be super super careful.
Shouldn't be lifting. You shouldn't be doing probably anything under 5 rep maxes. Anything that heavy.
Okay.
Definitely not 1 rep maxes until you're upper high school.
Gotcha.
And even then, like you said, unless you're doing a sport that requires you to use that sort of max effort on a static lift, like powerlifting, wrestling could make an argument, but really wrestling's all a lot of conditioning, some strength.
A lot of endurance.
Yeah. Shot put is one that you might want to consider doing 1 rep maxes for high school sports.
Shot put. Wow. I had to think
Um,
like 4 seconds before I got an image in my brain
Yeah.
of what that was.
Yeah, shot putters, like Olympic shot putters, are pretty similar to world's strongest man competitors as far as physique goes
Mm.
and what their training looks like.
World's Strongest Man is so funny to me. It's just just the insaneness of everything. It's like
Oh
the fact
yeah,
like more the fact that it exists more than anything else. It's like we have like a whole network like based around like dudes just living like picking stuff up. It's like to that level.
yeah,
Like obviously like the powerlifting thing is cool. It's like, oh wow, like they broke like a world record, but they're just like, oh, we're gonna move this freaking boulder like
yeah. No,
20 feet.
strongman is ridiculous entertainment. Powerlifting, I think powerlifting's kind of boring. Like it's just 3 lifts. It's a bunch of people in tights. There's all these technicalities to it. Strongman is just, you know what? Screw the weights. What can,
What
can
can you
you
pick
lift?
up?
Can you deadlift a car? Now let's see that. Let's see some real world application of this shit.
Can you pull a fire truck? Yeah.
Let's get a bunch of men that eat 6 meals a day and are pumped full of steroids. And let's see who can pick up the biggest stone. Now
It's just so
that's
dumb, but it's awesome at the same
pure
time.
pure entertainment.
Do you still watch it, or
No,
because I know you're super into it?
during
Oh.
COVID, I was consumer. I was a consumer of strongman content for sure. But I think,
You destroyed your
you know,
meniscus.
yeah, my interests have changed with kind of my current lifestyle, which is less focused on trying to be a hunk.
You're just maintaining, right? That's what you were saying before.
Yeah, I'm kind of maintaining, trying to work my legs back up to strength. I want to be able to deadlift 600. That's my goal at some point.
What are you at now?
I don't know. I haven't maxed.
Gotcha.
Probably 420 or something.
Epic number.
Yeah.
People keep asking me, oh, like when they find out I go to the gym because I don't really advertise it. They're like, oh, what are your max bench? I was like, dude, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I go by myself for one, and then two is like I don't care. It's like lifting like 225 one time is not going to give me a good pump. You know what I mean? I don't.
That's what people care about. At least the guys care about.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like Ray was like just randomly he brought it like, so what's your bench max? I was like, I don't like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like I'm not there for numbers. I'm not even there for like strength training. I'm there for like, oh, I want to look good, so I go to the gym.
Yeah.
And the amount that you lift doesn't really matter with looking good or not. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah. You're going for the aesthetic look.
Mm-hmm. I want to look like a Greek god. It's funny because the people like that, they get roasted on social media. It's like, oh, if you go to the gym to just like look awesome, you're like, there's the people who are like, you're fat phobic. You don't like fat.
What?
There's that scene, which is like the
Yeah.
1%. And then there's the people who are like, why are you going? That's so self-absorbent. You're just going to make yourself look good. You're not going for conditioning. You're like, that's a collateral part of it. But, I don't like getting stronger is cool, but it's not like necessarily a priority. If I get that as collateral, that's great. But like it's always nice. Like, oh, I get to put on another plate. That's cool. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not why I'm there.
Yeah. I mean, people, yeah, they like to trash on bodybuilders, call them pretty boys, whatever. Especially physique competitors. I don't know. I think everyone has their reasons, and they should just accept that. Like everyone has a reason for going to the gym.
Like I'm ferociously trying to get like a really good six pack. Not because it's like, oh my gosh, six. I don't walk around without my shirt on all the time, right? But I kind of want to do it just because I know I can. you know, it's
You got
like
that lean genetic.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have the genetics for it. It's like I'm not gonna be able to do this in 20 years. Like I might as well
Yeah.
just do it now, just to see if I can. See if I can pull it off. Like that's a lot of the motivation behind working out right now. It's like I just want to see what I could do right now because right now is
Mm-hmm.
the best time. You know.
Yeah. I was gonna think of something, but I forgot. But
Okay, that's
I
okay.
guess your byproduct of trying to look good, since you're not going crazy heavy on the weights, you're overall gonna feel better.
And the fact that my discs were destroyed.
Yeah.
That
Also that, yeah.
dude. Okay, so I did like 6 RDLs, and I felt it like when I got back in my back. I was like, geez,
You did?
yeah. Like it didn't feel bad, but I could tell like okay, like I definitely like accessed that part of my body
I
again.
definitely did that.
Yeah. Where usually it's like, oh man, nice pump, whatever. But yeah, I definitely felt that in the back. Definitely did a stretch at the back when I got home. I was like, nah, I don't know about that. I'm just glad I didn't go freaking heavy because I was doing sumo lifts at 225 during COVID with you, and that definitely like did not help that because that was before it got really bad. But I mean, that was definitely not a smart idea had I known that was going on.
Yeah. Oh, we were getting big during COVID.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, like I was saying, I was like 150. I don't know what I am at now. I should probably be logging my weight just for data purposes, but I don't know what I am now. I'm kind of back to where I was, but not as thick. Like the definition when I was working out with you was not really there. I was just kind of like getting large. Um,
That's what strength training will do, though.
just the big.
Yeah, yeah. You'll. I feel like you'll be hungrier and you'll gain a lot of water and maybe a little bit more fat than if you're just strictly trying to gain mass.
Hmm. And then I lost it all for COVID, but we don't talk about that. It's so tragic. It's almost worse than my brother because he used to be really big too. Because he was doing cross country. He didn't like that. That made him skinny, and so he switched to sprinting. And got into a lot of explosive workout type stuff, and he actually got pretty big. But he hasn't worked out for years now. It's like, dude, you got to get back in the gym. You got to, because he's a parts salesman at a Nissan dealership. It's like, dude, if you look big, I feel like that would help you.
Oh yeah.
You're not just some like, he's not skinny, but he's just like normal guy, kind of grease monkey. Like, oh, I'm gonna sell you parts and I'm gonna overcharge you. But you like, I don't know, if you're a charismatic, built looking dude and you're selling parts, I feel like that would be better.
Yeah.
If you're not Brody from it's Instagram thing, you know what I'm talking about?
No.
He always does like the like either trucks or muscle cars. He has like the blonde hair kind of buff guy. He's really what's the word? He's really explosive with the way he talks.
You'll have to show me a picture.
He's like, I got a Ram TRX. You wanna know why? It's got a big enough bed to have both your mom and your sister. Like that guy. Have you seen him?
No.
He's hilarious.
Pull
Like
it
that.
up. Pull it up.
I can't pull it up. I'll have to find him. I
Oh
don't
shit.
follow him. I just see him randomly on car pages. But he like I don't know. It's just stupid stuff like that. That's he works at a dealership. That's like his commercials for his dealership is he'll do stuff
Oh.
like that. He posts on the dealership TikTok or
Is
whatever.
this an Arizona local or?
No, I don't know where he's at.
Oh.
I think he's in the east somewhere.
Yeah, he's probably in Jersey.
Jersey guy selling cars in Jersey. But
I feel like people take you a little bit more seriously if you're built.
that's definitely true. I need to check where, when. Oh, Mark is asking us about dinner tonight. Around 6, I'll tell him. Around 6. That notification was me typing.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely the built thing. Like, I'll look at myself. I've said like way too many times. I need to chill out. I've looked at pictures from back when I was thinking, oh, I'm doing okay. Like I've gained some progress, and I'll look at that. It's like, dude, freaking twink, like just skinny, not good. I was like, this is a sickly looking child, and I'm thinking now, it's like, oh, I've made good progress. This is good, and I'll look at these pictures in 3 months and be like, oh, it's freaking sickly child, twink, you know. You even had that recently though, because I feel like last time I saw you, you're kind of the same size.
Yeah, I've definitely since I mean, you see me like what once every 6 months, if that.
Yeah.
So you kind of see you get like a snapshot of where I'm at in each point in time. I don't take a lot of pictures of myself shirtless and stuff like that. But I've definitely
But you
plateaued.
definitely did some mirror flexing yesterday.
I yeah, I did. Um, you got to check on it once in a while just to make sure it's there.
The what is it? What do you call it? The trimester report,
Yeah.
the quarterly report. Yeah.
So since you last saw me, I've definitely plateaued. Except, did I see you in May?
I saw you for 40 minutes outside your house at
Oh,
night
oh yeah,
because you had gone out with Troy and Dom or something, and then I didn't know about it, and then I was texting you. I was like, hey, you want to do something? You're like, oh, I'm already out. I was like, what? And then you're like, oh, I didn't know you wanted to come or something. I think you said specifically, which I can totally relate to. It was like you weren't on my radar because I hadn't seen you, so I forgot you existed. And that's I have that to an degree. So I didn't take any offense to that. But
yeah,
that's the last time I saw you. Like
yeah.
my brother, I'll do that to my brother. Like I won't even know he's like existing because I don't see him anymore. I'll see him like once every 3 months, and there'll be something that applies to him, and I just won't even think of him because he's not real anymore until I see him again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can definitely be like that, especially since I'm in another state, so it's a
You
little
got
bit
the
difficult.
Illinois life and then the Arizona life.
I do,
Yeah.
but I appreciate that I can always come back here and hang out with some bros. Like,
Yeah.
I hung out with Troy and Dom the other night, and it was a little awkward. Dominator, he's an awkward guy,
How is he now?
and
I haven't spoken to him since he was in high school.
he's good. He's just like the same, just a little bit toned down.
Okay.
He's still some Dom
He's
moments.
like he's like 30% Dom.
Yeah,
Okay.
30% Dom, but definitely less. He's very tolerable now, and he's funny.
Okay.
He says some funny things. I appreciate him. I appreciate that. Like, he'll just text me randomly and be like, "What's going on?" He'll be like, "How much you benching?"
Just out of nowhere.
Like, out of like, I I appreciate Dom because I'll say nothing to him in like 6 months, and then he'll just randomly be like, "Yo, what's going on, T? What's popping?"
He has this like snapshot of you in season 2
Yeah.
of your life where your character has evolved and you're in season
Even
7 now.
even though we're not that great of friends, he just like doesn't care. Like he'll come and see me just randomly. He'll be like, "You're in town. I'm coming to see you right now."
And people like that, I can't be a person like that because I don't know the person anymore. So I was like, I'm not going to hang out with someone I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be like me trying to hang out with, I don't even know, like Jarrett now, like Jared Ardente.
Yeah.
Like we were good friends, but I haven't spoken to him in 3 years or something. And so if he was in town, I know he's still in town, but if he'd gone, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm gonna come hang out with you now. Whereas Dom, it's just I don't even know. Like, I can't, I can't understand the social algorithm in his brain because I'll see him on people's stories and it's just like there he is. He's just like he's like omniscient. He's just always there.
He's a constant.
Yeah, I don't understand it. He's not evolved, but everyone has evolved around him, and it still works somehow.
Yeah.
Like he was kind of hanging out with Mihaela, and now he's actually hanging out with Mihaela, and it's like, okay, Dom, like there you go.
You gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, it's like he just stuck around for 4 years. I can't blame him. I mean, that's one way to do it. It's not the way I would do it, but that's one way to do it. There's that weird moment where it's like, oh, I have to make friends again once I started going to SCC as opposed to MCC because nobody talked to each other at MCC.
Really?
Yeah, nobody.
Like no one was homies. No one was like,
No.
what?
Like nobody. The only person I ever talked to outside of class was a friend from high school that also went there.
Dang.
We had a comm project where you had to interact with your teammates, but that was for school, so it didn't count.
Now, is that just sort of because that's kind of a freshman thing to do, like at any college. It's like,
Yeah, I'm in the freshman program now though because I switched majors,
oh,
and it's a completely different vibe.
really? People
However,
are
it is
talking to
it
each
is the
other?
art students, not the biochem students, so there's a
Oh,
difference
yeah.
there. But yeah, I mean they're almost too it's too extreme with the art students. It's pretty bad. Like you'll get these. There's a lot of I forget. There's a term for it that I forget what it is. It was something divergent. It's what they call autistic people now.
What?
Yeah, it's like oh man, what is it called? Autism. I'm gonna look it up right now so I get this right.
Oh, exceptional students? Is that what you're talking about?
No, there's a certain term that they say. Neurodivergency
Are
is
you
what.
shitting me?
No.
Neurodivergency?
Yes.
They switch it again?
Yeah.
Is this just autistic kids or is this like any mental disability?
I think it's anyone with, yeah, anything like chemically, biologically wrong with their brain. So if you're depressed or you have anxiety, I don't think that counts. Like this guy had Asperger's and he had neurodivergency.
I feel like the term was mentally handicapped. That's what we were, taught in the education classes.
I was taught autism in elementary school because they actually had a program in my elementary school to like mix us together so we understood how to interact, which I think was really valuable. They would have one autistic kid in your classes and you had to work with them and stuff like that. And as a kid, that's really helpful because you don't know that they're weird yet because everyone's weird. You're just like, oh, they're just slightly more weird. And then as you get older, like, oh, they can't drive a car, they can't do this and stuff like that. But it was helpful for me personally, just to understand that. But yeah, we were told the autistic kids, that's what they were called. And now being called autistic.
They just called them straight up autistic.
Yeah. It was like autism awareness.
Dang.
Yeah. And now if you get called autistic, you're probably in a COD lobby. Yeah. So
yeah,
autism's kind of been hijacked that way. So I guess it's neurodivergency now.
Neurodivergency.
Yeah.
Neurodivergency, exceptional students. That's another word.
Exceptional?
Yeah.
That usually means like higher.
Is that term is now lumped for anyone that's below or above average. So exceptional.
So if you're getting straight
exceptional-
Fs, like, oh, what was his name? That one guy who had a 0.3 grade point average.
Seth
Not Seth. It was the other guy. It was
Miles
No, he was in the saxophone section.
Carter.
No, what was his name? I don't know.
Manny.
No. He had to quit band because he got put in whatever that's called, where you have to stay, like you have a modified schedule just so you can get all your credits.
Oh, the core program.
Yeah, he got put in core, so he got taken out of band, but he had a 0.3 or 0.7 GPA.
That's crazy.
And so he would be considered exceptional now.
No, actually,
because I considered
I think so.
D'Angelo exceptional because he had a 5.0 GPA while
Yeah.
doing band. What a legend.
Who is that?
D'Angelo. D'Angelo Perez.
What did he play?
He played trumpet your sophomore year.
He was a freshman.
No,
Oh,
he was a senior your sophomore year.
D'Angelo. Huh.
Yeah.
Don't remember him.
I think he was second chair pretty much. He was also in, I think he also did choir and he was in the Poppins thing and he maintained a 5.0. Just absolute
Dang.
legend. Yeah. It's like, I don't know if school was easy for him or he just worked really, really hard.
Mixture of both, probably.
Because the hours we pulled for Poppins were kind of nuts and we weren't even really a big part of it. You know, we were just the pit.
Yeah, we were doing like 3 to 6 every day, something like that.
I remember we got out at 11 one night. You remember that? It was really late.
Oh yeah.
There was the one night, the dress rehearsal, that we just went until they got it.
Yeah, that was rough. But honestly, I'm glad I did that because it prepared me for what I'd be doing in college.
Which is?
And well, during the holiday season, we put on a big production every year. It's called Sounds of the Season, and it's kind of a community, like for that entire community, it's like the thing to do.
Okay.
And it's paid tickets and it's 2-hour production. And
2 hours straight of music? Is there a
2 hours straight
what do you call it? Not a reception, but
intermission.
intermission, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, we do 3-hour rehearsals, daily that tech week. So
Nice.
the other week we were doing that.
Is it 3 hours of just playing through the stuff or specific, we need to work on this in this section?
It's mainly, we'll play through some stuff, but it's not a lot of rehearsing. It's mainly just transitions because it's a very intricate show.
Okay.
The way some of those transitions work. It's like,
So there's
one
no-
group will play and then the spotlight will go to one corner and it'll be some choir and then that'll go dark and then quick transition to another band. So yeah, it's
Okay.
quite the spectacle.
So do all the songs transition into each other? There's no breaks of applause and they just
There's breaks for applause, but the transitions between songs, it's not like you're gonna see stands getting moved and stuff like that. That's all gonna happen in the dark, and the next group will be on in a matter of seconds.
Is it hard music or just holiday blah blah whatever? It's just a lot.
It's not too difficult because we have a short time to prepare, so it can't be too difficult.
Okay.
But I would say it's at an easy to medium college level.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
not difficult college level, but easy to medium.
I went to the Winter Spectacular
Oh.
at our high school because
Yeah.
Nathaniel it was the last one he was gonna do, so I was like, oh, I should show up to that, and so I did. And some sections are still really good. The violins are still nuts; they're always really good, and the cellos were actually pretty good too. In terms of band, obviously Annika, flute god, she was doing good, and then the saxophones and the low brass were pretty good. Everything else was like, I don't know, man. In the Holy Night, there's the horn things,
Oh yeah.
the horn motifs that go out through that. They switched it to a different instrument. I don't know. I forget
Smart
what instrument
move.
it was, but I remember Nathaniel saying like, yeah, they didn't play that part because someone else is playing it now. So it was.
Yikes.
It felt empty. It felt a little hollow. The sound. It was weird. Like, I don't know. It's like people weren't playing out or something. It's definitely a step down from when we were in it.
Really?
But
Wow.
yeah, I mean they got hit with COVID as the dream team left, so it was worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean
Who is the dream team? Let me just I need some clarification on that.
you don't know who the dream team is?
Who's the dream team?
Well, you and Mark pretty much led you and Mark being in the brass section elevated the entire brass section a grade.
That is true.
Right? The mentality, like the practice, like, oh, we got to practice to impress Mark or Tanner or DCI man, right? And then the Woodwinds were just really close with Hamilton, and so they all wanted to impress her. And so there was a lot of that going on. And then me and crew just freaking destroyed the percussion section from day one.
I forgot about Crew. That guy was talented.
Dude, he's epic. I've had him on this.
Really?
Yeah, there's some episodes with him that I've done with him, and yeah, he was nuts. It was it was so dumb. Like his senior year, he tried out for like he did all state for fun. Like he just tried out just because, and he
Yeah.
got in. And it's like he's like
For fun.
he told me if I make it in, I'm not going to show up. I just want to see if I can make it. And he he made it. It was like okay.
Did he show up?
I don't think he went to it no, because he had a dance recital for his studio that day. So he's like, I'm not gonna make it anyway to the performance. So I just want to see if I can get in, and he made it in. I'm out here barely making
Wow.
regionals. Like he's like, I just want to see if I can do it, and he freaking knocks it out of the park. Well, we had that, and then freaking AF in the horn section was actually pretty good for high school level. I don't know
He
about
was.
now, but back then. And then, oh man, we had a pretty strong just win section in general. Like everyone, I feel like every section had a clear leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have that anymore. A couple sections have leaders, like Annika leads the flute section, and like the Carter, Alex, Nathaniel trio lead the trumpet section. But the COVID kind of broke them, which was unfortunate because they could have been like the next, great trumpet trio thing in that school. But they all lost motivation for band with COVID. Because
Yeah.
I don't blame them. I did. I'm not doing band anymore.
No, COVID hit every band hard. I know.
It's still hitting them hard. Did
Yeah.
you see Santa Clara Vanguard is not doing DCI next year
Are you serious?
because they can't afford it.
Yeah. I mean,
That's how it's still in effect.
A lot of DCI's tour fees have increased like by thousands. Like
Seriously?
yeah, like they've went to 5,000 to 6,000.
gosh.
I know that's what the cadets have done. But honestly, DCI has after the tech that we had over the summer, who was in DCI, and some other things, DCI has had a bad taste in my mouth.
It has a bad taste in my mouth too. I like watching it. It's a cool performance.
Yeah.
I don't feel the need. Like after I got into the WGI scene, which is for drums, it's the same pretty much. The same guys do them all. With winds, it's a little different, but with drums, it's all the same. And I did not like the vibe of the people there. The program run extremely well. It was efficient. It was disciplined, but the people were not it. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I went to that camp for 3 weeks and didn't make a single friend.
Really?
Yeah.
What was this? Did you break through or?
It was I did breakthrough for a quick second because I didn't know when the auditions were. They held their auditions 2 months earlier than everyone else. And so I just showed up, looked at the book on my way there, and sight read it all for the auditions. And they're like, man, like they kept telling me like, man, you just come back next year. I was like, hey man, I read the book on the way here. They're like, oh, seriously? So
Really?
really? Okay. But I mean, it's just ASU band part 2, which is breakthrough. And then Vision, which was also pretty neat. I got in on synth, but I didn't want to do it, so I just said nah. I didn't even audition on synth. They was like, hey, can you play piano? I was like, yeah. And they show me, and I played something. They're like, okay, you're in. I wanted to get in on snare, but I'd cut my finger really bad 2 days before, and so all my chops were gone.
Oh my god.
And I could barely play. I was just like struggling. I was just there at that. Like once I cut my finger and I found out I couldn't play, it was just I'll go for experience.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit and all that. It didn't matter anymore because I wasn't going to do it. But I actually lucked out. I didn't pay a single fee, and all those people paid fees, and their season got cut short by COVID.
Dang.
So I lucked out big time.
That's one of the things that's kind of left a bad taste in my mouth is DCI is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
It's a rich kid sport.
Dude, I was talking to Wardell,
and there is no.
and he was saying, he's like, it's not the good kids, it's the good rich kids.
It's the okay rich kids. Like it's not even like my band
No offense,
director,
Mark.
who is the
Cavaliers.
brass caption head of the cadets. He's like, yeah, if you did it, you'd be great. Um, and I was like, I can't afford it. And he's like, I completely understand.
Just,
And
just like, yeah, it's overpriced. Sorry.
I'm like, yeah, it's just way too much. I gotta make money over the summer. I got things to do. I, I can't just
I feel bad for the
tour around the
kids, for
run
like the
around the
normal
country.
financial people who do it. You ever hear like they'll work an entire summer and all of that just goes straight into their fees, and they
Yeah,
do it. It's like, geez, that is not.
it doesn't seem worth it to me to do it because if I wanted to get better at my instrument, I could just practice over the summer, and I would probably make more I could take lessons, which is infinitely cheaper than DCI
Yeah,
over the summer. There's
I don't think people do it to get better though. They do it for the performance
Yeah,
aspect,
I guess the performance would be cool, but do you want to perform to make money or do you want to perform
just for fun. Yeah.
just for fun? Like,
Do you want to pay to perform?
are you
There's no ROI in DCI.
there? I mean, unless you're gonna tech for high schools the rest of your life. But do you really need to do DCI to do that either?
If you did DCI, you paid the $6,000. You did 1 year. When are you gonna make that? How many years of teching for high school is it gonna take to make that back?
Yeah,
Right.
I guess the someone explained. I was like, so is it really worth it? And they were like, well, since I'm gonna be a composition major, the connections that I make will be worth it because you get so close with
That's true. Yeah.
a lot of people in music all over the country. And that sort of makes sense to me, but it's not guaranteed and everyone's experience is different. Also, it's a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
And how can you do that without paying $6,000 over a summer? Been adjusting my mic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the. It's all about connections. Like I hate, I hate
Yeah.
that so much. But that's how it is in film too. I hate it. Everyone's so eager to talk to you, and you're like, dude, I don't want to talk to you, man. You're dumb. Like, I don't know. Like all the kids, they just keep. I mean, it's healthy to have this "I need to network" like mindset, but these are like, they're high schoolers pretty much. They're still
Mhm.
in dreamland. Like I was talking to you about this at your house to Bob. Like they're in La La Land. It's just like, oh, I need to network with these people. I need to talk with all of them, and then they don't know how to hold a conversation because they're theater kids and they're secluded in their room until they come out of their den to go perform on stage.
Mhm.
And it's a little bit. It's not even a little bit. It is toxic. It is a toxic environment that way, and you just got to find the people that don't suck. I don't know. Like all of the people I worked with were over the age of 24, and they just happened to be in that program.
For your film classes.
Yeah, for just all of my projects that were due, all the people I worked with were over 24.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. We had to work with people my age for, well, they were a year younger than me, but people my age for one Forster group project, and it was the worst thing ever. It sucked so bad. Like, like not even the immaturity. It was just I guess the perspective on work, if that makes sense. So we had to show up at 8 o'clock, and I told the guy because we were meeting at some guy's apartment to do it. I told him they're not gonna show up at 8. You know this. And he's like, okay, we'll make it 9. All right. So we make it 9 o'clock. I show up there at 9:12, thinking I'm late, and it's terrible.
PM.
A.M.
Yeah.
It's on a Saturday. 9:12 on a Saturday a.m. I show up at 9:12, and I see him. He's like, hey man. He's like, you're the first one here. I was like, are you kidding? I'm 10 minutes late. The next guy shows up at 9:36, and the girl shows up at 9:58.
She got the 9 in there.
Yeah. And she not only does she show up at 9:58, she shows up at 9:58 with Starbucks, saying she had to get gas and that's why she was late. Getting gas does not
Wow.
take an hour. It's like for one, just look at your gas thing and be like, "Oh, I need to fill up the night before." Cool. Or don't get I wanted to get Starbucks on the way there for some caffeine cuz I had to deal with these people, but I didn't cuz I was going to be 12 minutes late. And so I showed up 12 minutes late and I was still like an hour early at that point, relatively. And they didn't even say sorry. Like she there was no, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late. I can't believe like an hour late is a lot. That's a lot. Like at that point, don't show up."
Yeah.
She shows up an hour late and she's like, "All right, are we ready to get started?" And we're just all staring at her like, "Seriously? Like we don't even get like a sorry or a my bad?" It didn't like it wasn't that she was being disrespectful inherently. It didn't even occur to her. The thought didn't exist in her head. Oh, maybe this was disrespectful or poor manners. It was
Damn.
it, yeah, like
You do that on a film set, you're fired.
yeah, you're
But
done.
depends on the film set. But
So that whole debacle took around 3 hours.
oh my goodness, what did you guys have to do? Film something?
We had to film a 30-second commercial.
Are you shitting me? And they can't wake up at 9. They can't wake up at 8:30 to make it there.
Yeah. I for my film thesis, which before I cut it down was 5 minutes and 3 seconds. We got all of those shots done in an hour 10 minutes with just being that guy who had to deal with all that.
Oh,
And it took them 2 hours to get 15 shots.
what was the commercial?
Birds aren't real as a PSA. I'll send it to you.
Hey, I'd wake up at I'd wake up at 8 for that. That's funny.
Yeah, it's
That's cool.
I came up with the whole prompt. Their prompt for their commercial was a commercial for Crocs, and they were gonna put it in sport mode, and then just have the person run. That was the whole commercial. I was like, dude. Number one, I don't want to film someone's feet. Number two, like it's Crocs. Who cares? Do you need to get water?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and get water. I can keep talking. It's not a big deal. Do you know where the fridge is? Did you see it down there?
The fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just get water there. Cool.
We are now gonna have an intermission.
Intermission with just me talking, which is what every episode of this is when I don't have people here because I have no friends. Clearly I do. I have Tanner. This is going a lot better than it did with Ray because, for one, I had no notes. I've used maybe one note for Tanner, and I need to be drinking more water. I can feel the bug in my throat just starting to tick. And I have one with Judah. Very excited for that one. It's going to happen on Thursday night. So I have 3 days for my throat to heal for this one. So I know we have dinner going on. I should probably make 5 o'clock. It's 4:24 right now. Make 5 o'clock the cutoff mark for this. I think that would be a good idea. Pick up Mark. It turns out Mark is down for dinner. I'm thinking maybe Fuddruckers, something epic. Well, I would kill for an Outback steak right now, but that might be a little up there. Who knows? It's college students. $10 is expensive. I'll tell Mark. I'll tell Tanner about the Christmas party I went to last night. That's a good idea. Talk about the hot chocolate Chipotle. That's right. Hot chocolate Chipotle. That was amazing. I need to adjust something real quick. Yeah, talk about the hot chocolate Chipotle thing. I need to get his opinion on me teching. And what else is in here? This setup's so scuffed, but it's what we got. He's going to London. I need to ask about that. We already talked about the bowling night. Yeah, I mean, I should check this here. This is a little boring. I'm sorry. He's in. Mark Nichols in. Amazing. I hope I don't have to edit this audio too much because he was a little bit off the mic. I get so close to it, so I don't have to talk too loud to save my voice. But he was like back here, so I mean, I don't know how much room noise he's gonna get, but we'll see what happens. The film final I was referencing, it's called Extra Time. I got the best grade in the class because I'm a god. And it looks really nice. I'll probably show it to Tanner after this podcast. And the commercial, I got 65 out of 80, so it wasn't I got a B. It was okay. It was okay, man. I mean, it wasn't great, but yeah, good to see Tanner for sure. I won't see him after tomorrow. We're hiking Wave Cave tomorrow. That'll be fun. And he's back with the Hydro Flask, the camo green Hydro Flask. Matches his Nike jacket. That is actually a really nice fit, though. I'm not kidding. That's a good fit. They flip. There you go. And
Thank you. I had to take a piss too.
nice. The my throat was wretched from the one I did on Saturday, like right
Yeah.
before I saw you, and I'm hoping it's not gonna be wretched this time. So I'm trying to drink a lot, but I was saying that I got the highest grade in the class for the film final that I was telling you about.
Oh yeah. That's such a good feeling.
It is, because you're like, okay, I am good. Like a lot of this.
It rarely happens to me, but yeah.
Well, you know the client. I just told you about the clientele I'm dealing with, so it shouldn't be too surprising. Show up an hour late. Oh, let's get started. But yeah, a lot of this semester. It sounds so terrible to say this, and for not someone else to say it, but it was just finding out that I'm better than everyone else. Like it's a weird. It doesn't feel right to say that, but it's
Yeah.
kind of true. I'll turn something in. I'll be like, oh man, this is okay. I hope this is good, and then it's the best. Or man, I kind of half-assed this. I'll just turn it in because I don't have enough time. It's the best. Like how? I don't understand that. Because that wasn't even the case for music. I had to work to get I did a lot of front end work for piano. Like I practiced like 6 hours a day for 2 years, and then I just used that, lived off that for all of high school. And so
6 hours a day you practiced?
yeah, but it wasn't like a regiment. Like, oh, I need to practice my scales for 1 hour, and then this. It was a passion practice.
Ooh,
So
those are good.
yeah, like you have that honeymoon phase where you figure out how to not play. You figure out how to play more than hot cross buns on your instrument,
Oh yeah.
and you're like, oh shoot, I have so many possibilities, and then you exponentially grow before you plateau. It was that season, but I had that piano to play on, and so it was just infinite dopamine, serotonin rushes. It was great. The honeymoon phase is it's underrated.
I feel like piano, I can definitely go a long time and not even think it was a long time.
Yeah, because
Practicing
you're not
piano.
using your lungs for one.
Yeah.
It's not a very physical instrument. But yeah, like I would read this like back in elementary school. I would read a ton. I would get off school at 2:15, get my homework done. At 4, I'd start reading, and then we'd have dinner at 6, and at 7, I'd read till like 10, and then
Dang.
I'd just go to bed. I used to read so much; it was ridiculous. I don't. It's kind of sad how much I don't read now, but and then I found piano, and it just replaced that. And so I'd get off of school, practice a
Nice.
ton, eat dinner, and then practice a ton until like 1 in the morning, and then I'd do it all over again. And you have earphones, so you can just practice whenever you want. It's great.
Yeah.
Can't do that with trombone, unfortunately.
Well, they got those Yamaha mutes that you plug into headphones too, and it kind of mutes it, and
Hmm.
you can hear yourself.
Sometimes I would wake people up because I was just pounding on the keys so hard. They're like, "What is going on here?" A couple times, but yeah, okay. So there were a couple times after band competitions. You get back at 9 or 10.
Yeah.
I would go. You know how they have the pianos in the foyer of the auditorium?
Mm-hmm.
I would go. I'd literally put my uniform away, do all that, go play on that piano until like 10, and then call my parents and then leave. So like everyone was gone multiple times, and I was still there. Yeah.
Was Jenny there?
No,
Hamilton?
no, everyone was gone,
Dang.
and they'd show up like, "Why are you the only one here?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know." Like, I only did that like twice, but yeah, I just playing those pianos for hours.
Dang.
It was the passion practice. There wasn't a discipline thing. I'm not that cool. I wasn't that cool. Nowadays it's
I'm a
like
disciplined guy when it comes to practicing.
it's like I practice from 3 to 2. Well, no,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense. 2 to 3.
In trombone, it's like if you play too much in a day, you like will screw yourself over for the entire week.
Oh, you'll get chopped out.
You'll get chopped, and then you won't play well the next day or the day after that.
Mm. I've been talking to Nathaniel about what I would do if I was in high school because I just see that world from him all the time. So it's probably a bit. I definitely think about high school more than anyone else because he's still in high school, and I just see that. I have to go to his band competitions and stuff. I don't have to, but I go. So I see it all the time. And I'm like, oh man, like I could have done this, I could have done that, and I keep thinking like, man, I wish I would have did trumpet at Red Mountain specifically because the drum program was just garbage. In all honesty,
Yeah.
like if I wasn't in the drum program, it would still suck. Like straight up. Um, and I kept thinking like, man, I would like the way I would practice is perfect for brass, like the style in which I practice. Like I will play a 16th note grid, and there's like 128 individual beats in that. And if I mess up one of them, I'm like, man, that 48th one didn't feel right. I'm gonna redo the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I do a roll for 30 seconds, like, oh, I get second, like halfway through that, it didn't feel right. It sounded fine, but the feel was off. And so I'd redo the whole thing again. And I talked to brass people, and like that mentality is one of the best ways to practice. You're doing some sort of sustain, like, oh, I didn't feel like I got to do that again. It's just like perfecting the milliseconds of the music.
Yes.
You know, you find that like, how do you practice?
Honestly, it's hard for me to verbally say how I practice, but I'm a disciplined guy, and I will start
Do you,
almost the exact same way every single
do
time.
you practice like you work out? Like I need to get this many reps of this, and then we're good. Or
Sort of. I think about it like I'm working out because I am doing something physical. And it helps to think about it in that way. But when it comes to playing musically, that sort of doesn't work. When it comes to building your embouchure and making sure that you're using the proper airspeed and have the proper embouchure shape for each note, that works. I play lip slurs, which are pretty standard. They're not very creative. And then I work out of a book called Arbin Method, it was written for a trumpet 150 years ago by a trumpet guy.
but it's all brass pretty
It's
much.
super fit. It's like it's high brass and trombone. It's like the book
Okay.
for working on anything. And there's sections in it. I usually I'll pick a couple sections to work on for a few weeks, and then get it to where I can play it slow and then play it fast within a few weeks and just work on perfecting it. I
Mm.
don't spend a lot of time sort of perfecting each exercise, more just playing it every day and seeing if I can make one thing just slightly better
Okay.
for that day.
Gotcha.
And then once I do, I'll do, somewhere between 5 some to up to 12, sometimes more exercises out of Arbin, which are pretty lengthy. And then I'll usually throw in some a melodic etude. Not always, and then I'll work on my actual content.
Hmm.
So,
Okay. How long does that usually take?
warm ups alone, if I'm really going for a full warm up, it's gonna take an hour, sometimes more.
Jeez. So how long are the
Yeah.
practice sessions?
Just depends. It's hard to practice for more than 3 hours. I'll be honest.
Okay.
So
Especially
I
if it's a solo practice and you're the only one playing the whole time.
yeah, that's hard on your chops. So if I do that, I'll split it up into 2 practice sessions a day. But normally it's about an hour and a half. You can get most things done, and you shouldn't really need much more than that. Um, I feel like anything more than an hour is kind of the law of diminishing returns, where you
Yeah.
know it'll help a little bit after that, but it's
The amount of
not.
effort, it just isn't worth it.
Yeah, sometimes it isn't worth it.
Like
So
the idea of practicing out of a book is so foreign to me. Like,
yeah.
you didn't practice out of a book in high school, did you? You just did the exercises and whatnot.
I had a few books that the guy I was taking lessons with had me play out of, but I wasn't really as much out of the book as I am now. But no, the Arbin method is for real.
Okay.
That's for real. Because it's hard to like come up with exercises when you're just trying to build your embouchure and work on a specific thing. Like
Mm.
it takes the creative aspect out of your warm up, which helps you just focus on playing better.
That totally makes sense, actually.
Yeah,
So you're utilizing like one area of your brain as opposed to however many it is
yeah.
for creativity.
Because if I wanted to work on articulation, for example, I mean, I used to just play them on a line. Like I would just go down chromatically and play 16th notes at a certain tempo. That you can plateau really easily doing that. I mean, it works, but out of the Arbin method, there's like he has articulations in melodic ways. So all those exercises, you're like playing a melody and you're using a wide range of the instrument, but it feels like you're just playing a song.
Mm.
And so that's how I like to work on it because it feels like I'm not even working. It just feels like I'm playing and I'm just trying to make it clean.
Okay. That's actually really similar to how I used to practice. Like if I had a song and it had a big scale run in it, I was like, well, now I got to know how to play my scales really quick.
Yeah.
And so I figured that out, and then I'll transpose the song into a different key and then do it that way to learn a different scale. But yeah, like everything I learned was just a necessity to play a song I wanted to play. That's kind of how it went. Like you know, freaking jazz stuff. I wanted to learn how to play Misty by Errol Garner. I was like, well, now I have to learn jazz chords. You know?
Look at me. I
Yeah.
get misty. I forgot the words to it.
Yeah, I don't know the words to it either.
I know it starts with "Look at me."
Ella Fitzgerald.
Ella, she's great.
She's also dead.
Yeah. Well, she's great.
She was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I wish I had done brass in high school. I feel like there's so much more support for brass at a high school level for one, and at Red Mountain they don't care about drums, so brass would have been really good that way. And especially in marching band in Arizona specifically, because no one cares about drums. I feel like it just would have been more fulfilling. Like drums was fine. I had a good time. You know, I did other things. I did, pit for Beauty and the Beast. That was great. But
Mm-hmm.
that was those were small highlights. That what is the main gig. Like going to honor band was kind of a chore as a percussionist.
Yeah. A concert percussionist. I don't know. I respect guys that do that, but I
Like
couldn't do it.
at least at a high school level, as if it's more like learning how to do a list of things, and once you check that off, you're good. It's
Yeah.
like it's like I need to know how to do a really good crash on a crash cymbal. Okay, I figured that how to do a really good roll on a suspended cymbal where you can't hear the mallets hitting it. Okay, cool. It's just like a list of things. Like once you can do it, you're good. You need to sustain that.
I took percussion methods. What was it? Last spring, I think, or maybe it was last fall. I don't know. But yeah, it was that class was not like I thought it was gonna be like, oh, we're gonna practice snare drum really hard and learn how to play the drum set
Mm.
really good. But no, it was literally like a slideshow class.
What?
But it wasn't a slide. Classes that are just slideshow
Oh
notes.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
It felt like that at times because there was just so many instruments to learn. Like, oh, this is how you play the claves.
Yeah.
You'll need this maybe once or twice in your life.
Yeah.
This is how you play the wood blocks. Whatever. This is like there's just so much content that it literally felt like a slideshow class, and I hated that.
That's also one of the things about brass. Like you have one instrument that you
Yeah.
just hyper obsess on. I find that really. That's why piano was so much better for me.
Uh
Because I'm
huh.
kind of an obsessive personality in terms to practicing and learning
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But yeah, concert percussion is it's not it. I mean, the only reason I had a better time than crew did was because I actually enjoyed like it was like a free ticket to a concert every time. It's like, oh, I get to be like in the orchestra and hear it all that way, like a freaking Dolby Atmos. But you know, but I have to like pay attention twice. That's great. You know, sometimes like I've never had my chops challenged in concert band. Never, not
Yeah.
once. In marching band, yeah, but in concert band, it was just whatever.
Yeah. I respect concert percussionists,
Oh,
especially timpani players that do it for a living. Man.
timpani. Okay, timpani is a different thing. For certain pieces, you got to be good. Got to be really good. The guys who have to switch pitches in the middle of the song, and they don't have time to figure out what it is. They just know, like muscle
Yeah.
memory. They
That
just like,
foot
oh,
pedal.
boom. All right, we're in this key now, and they just know. It's like, okay, jeez. Yeah, timpani's a different thing, but my dad was saying like, do you think crash cymbal players should be paid as much as the violin player?
No.
Because like the amount of effort. I was like, straight up, no. Like, you play two crash cymbals in the whole song, you're getting paid like the salary of everyone else. I don't know about that. I hope they don't get paid the same
I'm pretty sure the timpani player is one of the highest paid in an orchestra.
because they're kind of hard to find.
They're hard to find, and it's very niche.
Mm,
Also, if it's pretty essential because you're basically a soloist,
that's true.
entire exposed soloist.
Especially the way they're written.
Yeah.
It's like the oboe player for any romantic era piece. It's just oboe solo,
Oh yeah,
French horn solo, first violin solo, timpani solo, song done. It's like okay.
yeah. First violins get paid a lot in orchestras.
I hope so. It's freaking
Yeah,
nuts, dude. I can't imagine. Like I tried playing a violin one time and I was like, no.
because that used to be back, like pre 1780s or something like that. The first violin was just the leader of the orchestra. There was no like conductors with sticks were rare.
Mm, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's what they're called, the concert
At least
master.
yeah, just for like orchestras and chamber ensembles sort of thing.
Gotcha.
When it came to operas and stuff like that, there was a conductor, but they had a staff and
They had a staff,
yeah,
dude.
music history. You learn
Jeez.
all these things. We learned that one guy he was conducting with his staff and he smashed his foot and he died from a foot infection from that. So
Wow. What a way to go out.
hazardous job.
Jeez.
Um, but yeah, Haydn, like Joseph Haydn,
Yeah.
he was the first violin for all his pieces. Like everything he wrote.
Just like,
Like-
this is the me show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
He didn't get up there.
You
And
can't
conduct.
blame him. It's good music.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it's not like he wrote crappy pieces and he was just kind of riding on his laurels.
He wrote some fire stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said opera, it reminded me. Have you ever listened to the Ring Cycle in its entirety?
The Ring Cycle?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Richard Wagner.
Wagner?
Yeah.
No.
It's a 16-hour epic. You can find a video on YouTube of an uninterrupted Ring Cycle. I think that one's 14 hours because they played a little faster. But yeah, it's a 60. I listened to the whole thing one time. It was over COVID. It's like, not in one sitting. I listened to a movement a day. Each movement's like 2.5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
But it's pretty cool actually. It's where Ride of the Valkyries comes from.
really?
Yeah, it's from that. It's like a 3-minute section of a 16-hour opera. So that it's like it's like the Romeo and Juliet suite. It's like a 40-minute piece in that like one
Goodness.
that love theme from it is like the only thing anyone remembers from it. Same with Swan Lake. Everyone
Mhm.
only knows Cine, and it's like
Yeah.
a 40-minute piece.
Mm-hmm.
But Fly of the Valkyries is a little bit worse because it's 3 minutes out of 16 hours.
Yes.
But
Man, I thought Handel's Messiah was bad.
how long is that?
That's like 3.5 or something like that.
Jeez. Yeah, it's a conductor thing. 16 hours. YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
It's amazing.
And they played for 16 hours straight.
I think there were some intermissions, but it's like I think it was one event.
Yeah, we're gonna have an intermission for lunch. This is our a dinner intermission.
I just want to see the book that he conducts from. You know, like
It's
the
probably
conductor
multiple
score,
books.
like how thick that is. Each movement is like 2 hours.
There's no way that that was performed in one sitting.
The YouTube video is, I mean, it's one angle.
It's probably like a season. Like,
Let me see.
we're gonna play this movement today.
And then tomorrow we'll play the other one.
Next week we'll have the other one. It's probably like a series. I don't know.
All right, let's see here. Oh, I think they took it down, or is it still? No, okay. Okay, it is. Let's see. By Opera North. Was it all in one sitting? I have to see. This is a visual part of a audio podcast. This is great. Yeah, I think it's one. All right, I'm just gonna skim through it just to see you. No, it's definitely one performance for 14 hours. It's called "Conducting the Ring Cycle: A Marathon of Music" 5 years ago by Opera North.
My goodness.
Only has 134,000 views. A 14-hour long YouTube. Yeah, I don't think there's intermission. I don't think so. Let me see.
Wagner got canceled, so
Well, he was a freaking fascist.
no, I think he was dead by the time fascism rolled around.
Well, it's pretty
but it
much the
was
same thing. Yeah,
Hitler's.
Hitler's idol. Yeah.
Yeah, he really liked the ring cycle, so we don't listen to that.
The ring cycle is just Lord of the Rings. Pretty much.
What?
The story.
Really?
It's all in German, so I feel like if you understand German and listen to it, it's
Yeah.
just Lord of the Rings.
But it says it's 4 dramas or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine, since it's 4,
It's like
episodes.
Das Rheingold, Die Valkyrie, something something, and then something something.
that they would have performed it like once a week or something.
Yeah, like
One a
each
week.
act. Yeah,
Yeah.
a week. But I think the video is just. I'll send it to you so you can watch it. But it's just on the conductor for 14 hours, which is insane. That's like music to an unhealthy level. Like I don't know why you would do that. It's dumb.
It was an opera though, right?
Yeah.
So that was like, primetime entertainment back then.
Yeah.
That's like going to the movie at Friday night.
Mm-hmm. Movies are dying though. Kind of sad. Streaming's
Are
taking
they?
over. Yeah. The theaters and cinema are kind of they're on the down.
Theaters, I understand
Yeah.
why they're dying.
I have gotten into this thing of theaters being almost sacred. Like I have to see this movie in theaters with the sound, with the the screen. I could care less about. If I could watch it on my phone, but with theater sound, and I would be just as happy.
Yeah.
Did you watch Dune?
Yes.
Did you watch it in theaters?
Let me think about that. Oh man, I don't think I did.
So I watched it in theaters for the first time. I got a headache from the amount of bass by the end of it. And then I watched it at home with my family, and it was there was a clear worsening of the experience by not having the sound system in the theater.
Yeah.
Cuz that's a very sound-driven movie for one.
Uh-huh.
But even the Batman, the new Matt Reeves Batman, Robert Pattinson,
Mm-hmm.
that was a less enjoyable experience.
I saw that one
significantly
theaters.
out of theaters. Significantly less enjoyable.
out of the theater.
Mhm.
I can see that.
Like the like the thing I took away from the Batman sound wise was the punches. I'm not gonna lie, the punches sounded so nice. Like every time, I feel like if I watch The Dark Knight and Christian Bale punches somebody, it's like okay, he punched him. But in the Matt Reeves one, when he punches him, you're like, jeez, dude, this is like cannons for arms, dude. It's insane. Just I don't know, the punches sounded so meaty I haven't heard punches like that in a long time. I was like, man, whoever did the punches for this movie, really
Some
good.
guy sitting in a studio just
Yeah,
like
just
trying to get the
yeah, just
trying to
punching.
get
I
that
don't even
right.
know. Punching like lettuce, turnips. The Foley artists.
He probably just he probably just had to punch someone.
Maybe
They had a mic set
it
up
was
like
so
this.
like put a mic like a lavalier mic inside their mouth and punch them in the face. I don't know.
They probably just went to like the UFC gym and just said, "All right, I need you to punch the shit out of this guy."
Have you seen that video of the Joe Rogan kicks?
No.
Oh, dude, it sounds like gunshots.
Joe Rogan kicks.
Yeah, like he kicks the bag, and it sounds
Yeah.
like gunshots.
I feel like Joe Rogan is not that good at karate anymore.
What about jujitsu?
Jiu-jitsu?
That's like his thing.
I thought it was karate, wasn't it?
Well, now all he talks about is jujitsu. That's like
Oh, okay.
mixed martial arts. Jiu-jitsu.
I don't know.
blah,
He's
blah.
he's getting older.
Well, yeah,
but-
that's how it is. But
Yeah.
like Jocko Willink will not shut up about jujitsu. Like every time
Dude.
he can bring it up, he
The
brings it up.
jiu-jitsu is a cult.
Yeah.
You want to talk about poor ROI? Jiu-jitsu. That thing is like $80 a month.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm serious.
I mean,
Because I wanted to go. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a badass.
I was thinking about getting into it purely for the self-defense thing. Like if I'm gonna learn self-defense, jujitsu is probably the best one.
Yeah.
You know, I am adamant. I will pay for it for my little sister to get jujitsu lessons. It is the ultimate anti-rape martial art.
That's true.
Like
Mm-hmm.
the idea is to get out of things when you're like someone's on top of you. There you go.
Yeah.
So I think if you're a girl, yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you need it if you're a guy, but if you're a girl, jujitsu, come on. But
Yeah, I personally
I
don't
understand the
think I
cult
need
thing.
it.
One of my friends is out in California right now, at like the school in Southern California, like the
UCLA, USC,
jujitsu school.
the jiu-jitsu
Yes,
school.
there's a specific freaking jujitsu school that's like super famous, and he's at that one right now, taking lessons. He went out there for a bachelor party and just didn't come back with the boys because he's doing jujitsu.
Sorry, I'm training. To
Sorry, I'm grappling with men.
I'm trying to be a Batman.
But yeah, I've legitimately thought about it a couple times, especially recently, because I've kind of gotten into working out normally.
I don't mean to trash the jiu-jitsu community because they.
Well,
I
it's
don't
like
wanna
anything.
get-
It's
I
like
don't wanna
Elon
get
Musk
choked
is a
out.
genius, but I hate his fans. It's the same idea.
I'm gonna get choked out at Chick-fil-A or something.
Some guy.
There he is.
This podcast is not popular. I don't. Okay, I will say this. I'll do some solo episodes, right? And I'll get 15 views. And I was like, 15 people. I don't know 15 people that watch this. Who is watching my channel? So I don't know who's freaking watching this, because I've only told like 6 people about this. So who's gonna sit through an hour of just me talking? Nobody.
How does it count views? Does it count views only if they watch a certain amount, or?
They watch at least a minute. It'll count views. I can see I can go into to the analytics and see which parts of the video has been watched.
Mm.
On certain episodes, like the guest ones, like one of these, it'll be pretty good, like 40 minutes out
Really?
of 2 hours. The one I did with Daniel, one of my friends, who's he like shows up once every 2 years or something. Like he used to be in our youth group, and then he just disappeared one day. Like he got nicknamed Ditcher Daniel because we would be at events,
Dan.
and one minute he'd be there, and the next minute we're like, where'd he go? Like, oh, he left. Like what? He would just disappear from events. He's I think he is a jiu-jitsu guy, but he was into it like 2011 before it got big. So he's an OG, but the one with him, because nobody ever gets to talk to him ever anymore. It was among church people that everyone listened to it, but I couldn't get a straight answer out of him the entire episode. I was asking like, oh, what have you been, like, trying to figure out what he's been doing for the past 4 years that he's been disappeared. And he kept talking about how he's gonna rob a bank and he got thrown in prison or something. But it's just, it's like, okay, man, do what you want to do.
All right.
Yeah. But you're going to London, and that's why you're not staying very long, right?
Mhm.
What's the plan
Correct.
there? You just going to do a parade? You leaving or what?
So this is a good time to talk about the story about that trip.
Okay.
So kind of a crazy story that worked out in the students' benefit. So, as of this summer, so before the school year started, I was on the fence about going. I was pretty sure could not afford it because it's $3,600.
Jeez.
London's very expensive place. But yeah, it's $3,600, and our band director he wasn't promoting the trip to people. He wasn't saying like there was no communication as to when we had to pay or anything like that. And it was just too much money. And it gets towards the fall, and he does no fundraisers. He's not. We've we've known about this trip for 3 years. No fundraisers have happened to help the band go because we are supposed to
Wait, how many
march.
years?
3 years we've known about this trip. Zero money's been raised. And I'll get back to why that
Okay.
is. But yeah, so it's the fall. No fundraisers. He promised a couple, but none of them materialized. It gets to late October. He calls a meeting of the marching band and of the leadership team, I mean, which I'm a part of. And basically, he says we have about 20 people who can go, and we're thinking about just taking a small band because just no one can pay for it, COVID, blah blah blah. He makes a bunch of excuses
Okay.
as to why college kids can't shell out. He tries to
I feel like
basically
college kids can't shell out in general.
yeah,
So
but he's like oh just I don't know why people can't shell out $3,600, but I understand. It's just been a hard time. It's like no, like that's just too much. Like you gotta help us out and let us know because you gotta let us first of all let us know that this thing is even happening because he's during the fall he was on the fence about even doing the trip. He tried to back out. In November, they try and back out of the trip to see if they can back out of this travel contract. And the company said, you signed this contract for 70 people.
oh my gosh.
And he's just now finding this out. Our band director, his contract he signed, just now finds out that we have to have 70 people go on this trip to march in London. And basically no one can pay, and it's a whole disaster. And in November,
Do you know what the payout is if he backs out?
the full price of the trip for 70 people going. So 3,600 times 70. That's how much the school has to pay if they back out. Because we have to pay regardless. You cannot back out of this kind of contract. And so the dean of the school of music gets everyone together and he starts off this meeting by saying, if you want me to get on my knees, I will. We need people to go.
Jeez.
And they basically said, pay whatever you can, and we're gonna have to get bailed out by the university is gonna have to bail us out.
Oh my
the School of
gosh.
Music. So I'm basically going for really whatever price I want to pay. They're at our mercy as far as that's concerned.
Nice.
So, yeah, like $250,000.
Jeez, dude.
Um,
That's such a music issue though, like a music person issue. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Like I feel like if anyone's gonna get in that issue, it's gonna be the arts department.
yeah, that's so true.
That's why managers are so important. That's why that's a whole profession, being a manager of an artist.
Yes. Well, we used to have a really good secretary of the school of music who would handle stuff that our band director couldn't do because he is an organizational nightmare. He can't organize a fundraiser for he can't organize anything, to be honest. And part of it is he's a DCI tech, a brass caption head for the cadets.
Okay.
He spends his entire summer traveling around the country with his
Just
DCI,
doing the DCI stuff, yeah.
and then he comes back. He literally goes from DCI to our band camp within a day. Like there is
Oh
no
my
turnaround.
gosh.
There is no time to prepare. So he shows up and nothing's ready. Like drill isn't written, music isn't finished, percussion parts aren't even started, and he just expects everything to work out, and it's not working out.
How does that even? How do you get off the ground at that point?
Well, it's honestly, it was better this year, but it was still like we didn't have percussion parts for the last part of our show until October.
Okay, so it's just kind of writing on the
Yeah.
run. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, after this London debacle, which was 100% his fault, he should have known that he had to get people to commit to this trip and communicate with us and promote it to the incoming freshmen, and we probably would have had enough people to pay. And also just like following up on making payments on the trip, like, hey, this payment's due then, this payment's
There was
due.
no follow up.
There was no follow up.
Jeez.
So, like, I submitted a deposit for this trip, like 2 years ago or something
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh.
So I was on the list to go, but there was no follow up. Like, hey, make this payment. Are
Yeah,
you
usually
still
there's like
going?
due dates for certain
Yeah,
payments.
like hard due dates
Yeah.
too. Or even if if they're hard, you can at least maybe not hard due dates, but you can just make them and they'll follow up with you, make sure that you're doing that. But yeah, nothing
Wow.
happened. So his job is kind of
Is this like a fireable offense?
oh, this
I
is
mean, if it's $250,000.
this is 100% a fireable offense, especially with everything else that he shows up unprepared for because he's marching around the entire summer doing DCI.
Hmm.
Like, if you can barely do your job that takes 9 months out of the year, then why do you get to have this super demanding summer job?
Hmm. Jeez. That's such a band person thing to do, though. Like,
Yeah.
Jeez. Like I can't even fathom. Like, it's weird because people will be like, oh, like that. I could see how that could happen. Like I can't even like I can't even incentivize like in my brain how I could get in that position. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I That's insane. 250 $250,000.
It might even be more. I'm doing some.
Yeah,
That's just
do the math
number-
right now.
That's the number that they told us.
Pull up the calculator app.
Okay, let's say, I think the contract was for 70 or 80. I can't remember. Let's do 80. Let's go on the high end times 3,600. That's $288,000.
Oh my gosh. You imagine if he didn't because I'm guessing it's the travel agent or the airline that kind of called him up. It was like, hey, we have this thing coming up, right? Or something to that sort. It wasn't him who just like, oh wait, I have this.
As far as the contract is concerned,
Yeah.
the contract was through a travel company.
So they probably hit him up and were asking about details or something.
I think they didn't know that how unready we were to pay for this.
Well, I'm saying like, would it be possible for him to have not even known about this? And then
about the contract.
Yeah, like, and then the school randomly out of nowhere just gets a bill for $288,000. Like, is that in the
Ooh.
cards? Because that would have been hilarious.
I could see it happening, but he's lucky that the reason that this got caught, I think, and we were able to get bailed out by the school is because the dean was a co-signer of this contract.
Mm.
Obviously, none of them, they're both men. None of them read the contract. I don't read the shit I sign. I just sign it.
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, I'll sign it. We'll be able to get 70 people. Sounds good to me. Yep.
Yep. Jeez. That's amazing.
So the dean, who's the co-signer, this is not his baby. This is not his responsibility. He has
He was
way
probably
more
just there
stuff.
for legal reasons or
Yeah,
something.
way more stuff to worry about than this trip. He just kind of trusted, things will work out like they've always done if these international trips that the band has done. But it blew up in our director's face.
Man. But you get pretty much relatively a free trip to London
Yeah.
out of that.
So
Yeah.
works out in my favor, but I kind of wish that we would have been able to pay because it hurts the university.
It's going to hurt the music program big time, right?
Yeah, it's going to But they're asking people to get this. Pay on a trip that already happened after it happens.
College students, college
And
music students.
And they're trusting that students are going to pay whatever they can. That shit ain't happening. There's going to be like $2. I got $2 to pay. Is that good enough?
Just throw up one, like half, not even like a quarter of a paycheck at them. And they're like, okay, cool. Cross. People are probably just going to forget about it because you just cross it off mentally and it's gone.
Exactly. So,
oh my gosh.
I mean, if they don't follow up with us, yeah, I feel like they're going to have a fat bill on their hands. I feel like
it's going to be a fat bill regardless.
Yeah. The School of Music will probably have to pay like $150,000 for this.
Oh my gosh.
Because some people have already paid in full for the trip, believe it or not.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's like the Jesus parable with the two, like, denarii. You know what I'm talking about? The field workers?
Yeah.
So, like it would be like 8-hour workday. I'll give you 2 denarii to do this. Okay, cool. And then, like, 5 minutes left. The guy's still wanting people. I'll give you 2 denarii to work for 5 minutes. Oh
yeah. So some people have paid in full for this.
Oh man.
And that's really the criminal part.
I would go to the dean if I was one of those people and be like, "No, this is give me my money back."
I think that's what some people did.
I hope they got their money back.
But I think some just considered it, a donation. Basically.
Oh, it is a Christian school. All these nice people. Yeah.
Oh man, we ride off donations. That is the school's saving grace. That's how we stay afloat.
How churches are run.
Yeah.
Offerings, man.
Yeah.
Gotta get that offering in there. I want to ask you about like what's gonna happen on the trip, but I have to go to the bathroom real quick. So.
All right.
Okay. It's amazing how well you can sit when you don't have a full bladder. I had to keep adjusting myself so I wouldn't freaking explode.
I wouldn't explode.
I was dying, dude. I can think clearly now.
I can think clearly.
Oh man. Jeez. Okay, so where are you marching? Is it like a cool street? Are you marching on cobblestone or what? Freaking
The London New Year's Day Parade.
Oh, that's pretty big.
So we're gonna be on TV, and it's gonna go right next to the River Thames. The River Thames. How do you get Thames? I don't know.
Okay.
The British River.
The Thames.
The London
yeah, I know what
River.
you're talking about. Yeah.
I know we're gonna go over the London Bridge, I think, and then stop in front of some fancy palace.
Buckingham Palace, maybe?
Maybe.
That's where the Queen used to live.
Used to. Rest in peace. And then we're gonna do a short little drill thing. You know, in the Macy's Day Parade when the camera stops on the marching band and they do like a short little drill set and then they march on. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
We've practiced like twice for it, and none of the music that we are gonna march has been rehearsed in a while. So,
okay,
it could be. Don't tune in. Yeah,
that's so odd. Is this a thing because the British people are like, oh, we want to see America out here? We'll get Illinois people. You know, what are they? What was the idea behind this?
Well, we've been before to the same parade. We went in 2016, so about 6 years ago. Um, I think they kind of like having just random places from all over
Okay.
come, but surprising
Everywhere we've conquered, we
you'd
invite.
you'd we're gonna have a band from the colonies.
The sun never sets on the English Empire.
Every corner of the empire is coming.
Okay.
No, surprisingly, these parades are not that hard to get into.
The London New Year. Is it probably easier than Macy's? Probably, right? Or is that Macy's New Year's, or
I
that's a different thing? That's Thanksgiving. But
Macy's is Thanksgiving. Yeah, it might be a little bit hard, a little bit easier than Macy's. But we've played at Trump's inauguration.
no.
Yeah, we did. All of it at Nazarene University marched in Trump's inauguration.
I'm guessing you didn't play at Biden's inauguration.
Didn't get invited.
Oh
Yeah, I don't know.
that's amazing, because at Fremont there's always this it's called like something 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 youth patriotism whatever, and you go to Washington D.C. and the year I could have gone was 2016,
Ooh.
the year of Mr. Donald J. Trump's inauguration himself. So I think Preston Hayden went on that, and so he got to see Trump and all that good stuff. Little did those children know
What would
what was
transpire.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man. Dude.
What an idiot. But yeah, you'd think they'd want like Stanford's marching band or like
Yeah.
you know,
Something.
Ohio
USC,
State.
Yeah.
like some crazy college marching band.
Some super American.
maybe
thing.
maybe a DCI. You'd think they'd take the best of the best, but no, these events they're not really prestigious. They're more like, hey, whoever can go because they got other stuff going on in New Year's. Not everyone wants to make that journey over.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
I mean, as a student, it's cool, but as like a
Yeah.
administrator,
it's also who you know too. Like, have you been before? Do you have a relationship with
Hmm.
whoever's organizing it?
so who knows? Who knows British people at freaking Olivet?
I don't know. Apparently, our marching band director, Mr. DCI himself.
Forgetful Fred.
Yep.
Jeez.
He made the cadets is like the Christian drum corps. If you didn't know,
I heard people saying something along the lines of that, but
like they have to. I don't know if
they
other drum
pray
corps.
before their shows or something. I don't know. They take communion.
But they have like this weird. They have like some weird rules that other drum corps don't. Like, you can't cuss in uniform.
Okay, I can see that. I would see that more as like a Southern manners type. I would expect that from Carolina Crown or something. You know?
Southern manners.
Yeah, just like be classy while you're presenting the core, right?
Yeah. I guess. But yeah, and then when it's the awards time, they have to sit in silence, like at attention.
No celebrating.
Yeah.
Well, they never win anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, they're top 5, so that's pretty good. But and then the other corps will like try and break them. We'll be like yelling in their face,
Oh, no.
like harass them.
That's awful.
Is
My only like idea of what the cadets are is their drumline, because that was kind of my world. But the cadets have been memed by the drum community for having like stupidly hard books, just like too hard, almost, like
What do you-
almost unperformable books.
like the music.
Yeah, like show, like that's what book is.
Really?
Yeah, like you'll see Blue Devils. They'll have everything. It'll be nuts, but it'll be super super clean. And the cadets will just try way too hard with their writing.
Really?
If you ever look up, I don't know if this is the case since COVID, but before COVID, if you look at their show books, it's just dumb. It's like, why? Like, why do you have to play this? And you look at Blue Devils, it's hard, but it's It makes sense musically, but cadets almost sacrifice musicality for difficulty.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. I'm not really a drum corps aficionado,
Well, this, like I say, this
but
is outdated information. This is
yeah,
pre-COVID.
yeah.
I haven't watched a show since freaking Alex had us all over for that 2019 thing.
Dang.
Yeah.
Last time I saw a show was DCI finals in person this last year.
You went to finals in person?
Yeah, because it's only, it's only, um, I want to say it's only 2.5 hours from our school, Indianapolis.
Yeah. Okay. That didn't
And
connect in my brain that you were already up there.
yeah, and our director having,
Yeah.
being, and we know, some people in our band, they do the cadets because they got that connection there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of cringe. We kind of make fun of the people that do cadets in our band because
Some
some of them,
DCI people are cringe.
yeah,
Just in general.
Some of them are
Sorry, Mark.
assholes. Some of them are assholes. Some of them are really nice, like Mark, obviously JM,
Mm-hmm.
super awesome. But I don't know. Weird people do DCI.
That's. I feel like you
Yeah.
find that with rich people in general.
Yeah,
It's just like, I don't know. It's like a, I don't know, like a deformed egg. It's like it didn't have enough hardship, so it didn't grow correctly.
maybe.
Like we were talking about the iPad kids. They're like these small people because they never had hardship. You know,
Yeah,
not even hardship. They
maybe.
just never did anything. The hardest thing they did was like subscribing and hitting the bell.
I feel like it's not so much as the people that do it are just bad people as much as they just like overemphasize it and they make it
Their personality.
their like entire identity is DCI. When they come back to college marching band, they're like still on that DCI mindset,
Yeah,
and it kind of ruins other people's
because
experience
college
if
band
they're
is
around
supposed to
them.
be chill.
Oh, college band, like I thought
Just
it'd be a
party
little bit
time.
more serious, but no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
And I go to a Christian school and we don't party. It's just like people
Well, party
don't.
time is in like the show is a party.
Yeah.
That's what I
Oh,
meant.
that's true. That's true.
It's not like we need to like have this emotional payoff at the end of the no, you just play show tunes. Have a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah. No, people don't really care in college
the-
marching band as much.
Freaking DCI. There's no story to Billie Jean. What are we doing? This Michael Jackson show sucks. But oh, dude, Mark was telling me that the ASU drumline sucks now. Like they had a culling or something, and everyone left.
They
And
had a
so,
what?
like there was a purge.
What?
One of the instructors left, and it kind of fell apart.
Really?
Yeah, he was telling me, I like not as an insult, but like you could make ASU drumline now. I was like, I don't know about that. Like, I would have to practice, but I remember it was just like Breakthrough Extended. It was just Breakthrough guys, all DCI guys. It was best in the state drumline college, and now apparently it's kind of mediocre. I guess
I can
COVID
see
hit
that.
them hard too, which sucks. But I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of cool. Whereas ASU band was Tempe party, blah blah blah. Drink all the time, and then the drum line was like this higher level thing, kind of on its own.
Uh-huh.
But it's kind of, I guess it's kind of delved into chaos. I don't know.
Wow.
Freaking band, dude. I feel like that's all we ever talk about.
Band.
That's the thing though. Like with the people I still talk to from high school, which is pretty much just you and Mark. You guys, that still is your life. That's all. I mean, you're gonna be a band teacher, and then Mark's just came back from DCI, and so that's a thing.
Uh-huh. Yeah, band is my life.
Band is my entire personality.
To be honest, even though I know a lot about visuals and how to make a band look good, I don't really want to teach marching band.
I was gonna ask you that. Like, would you ever tech for an Illinois high school?
I would tech. I don't know. I would have to tech before I decide if I actually want to teach marching band, because it's unlikely that I'll get a large marching band position, like high school position, right away out of college. I mean, I definitely could. It's happened.
Okay.
It happens occasionally, but not to everyone. So I feel like I need to dip my feet in and see if that's something I'm even interested in teaching.
Is the junior high plus owning a gym gig still kind of in the back of your head?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Getting
Is that end game like kind of dumbing down to junior high and then getting a gym, or is that what you want to do kind of off the bat, or at least try to start working towards?
um to be honest, I don't know. It's going to be whatever job I can get, and that kind of depends on where I'm going to be living. If I get married, I'll most likely be living in a Chicago suburb,
Chicago. Okay.
and it's very competitive for music teaching jobs out there because
Because it's Chicago.
the salaries are kind of crazy. You get paid like six figures for marching band directors.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
That's actually awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay. Jeez.
so
Well,
it's
you're the best, so you're champion.
I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. You're right.
How long has it been since you've said that?
It's been a while. Probably freshman year of college.
Jeez. There were so many Tannerisms that I wish we would have done this a couple of years ago. You know? It's
Yeah.
freaking there's champion, there's T,
I'm reformed.
there's the I'm the best, there was Lion Lex. There's all those great sayings. It's very Trump like in the way that like you just coined all these sayings.
I'm no longer just a walking shitpost.
Yeah. It's like it's a good Tanner. Like you met in the middle. You know, from depressed Tanner to like bombastic Tanner.
I definitely like my section because I'm a section leader. We were giving out awards like at the end of the year, like funny little. You write a little award for each section member, and I got the Donald Trump hand expression award because like, I just when I talk in front of a group, I like to big fish, little fish, kind of the hand movement thing, Trump thing going on. So yeah, I got kind of roasted.
I really think that maybe we need more air support.
You guys, you're using baby air. You need to use big air. We're gonna use huge amounts of air.
It's the best air. This is the best brass section.
I didn't like that. Have you seen that video of him? Where he's like, the lights are too bright. Turn them down. Turn them down.
No. Is this during the presidency?
This is like no.
Or is this
I think
afterward?
it's after he gave a speech, and he was like, "They're too bright," and he was like freaking out.
Did too much coke before. I don't know.
It's too loud. It's too loud. Turn it down.
Don't use the word smart with me.
Don't ever use the word smart with me.
I know what proper lines look like on a football field. Dude, Trump as a band director would actually be hilarious.
Just you wait till I'm a band director.
Before we end it, I did want to tell you about the gift that I had because I'm not going to bring this up again because I'll forget. So I told you I got a Chipotle gift card for the Christmas party I went to for the White Elephant. I ended up sticking it inside of a Swiss Miss hot chocolate bag. And that was the gift that people saw was the hot chocolate.
Oh yeah.
And like nobody cared. It was like, oh, hot chocolate, great, because it was a $10 thing, and like a hot chocolate bag is like 50 cents. It's like hot chocolate and a candy cane. If you're like, what is this? And I was like, open it up, and then they pull it out and they just dust off like off a Chipotle gift card for $15, and people started like, oh man, now people want it, and the guy who ended up getting it was because there's a stealing mechanism.
Oh yeah.
Right. And the guy who ended up getting it was trying to load it onto his Chipotle account before it got stolen. And
What?
but luckily it ended up getting dead because once it gets stolen too many times it dies. But
like it gets
yeah,
like
you can't.
no one gets it.
No, like you can't. Like whoever's like, I think it's stolen like 2 or 3 times, and then no one can steal it again. So whoever ends up with it at that point. So it's like kind of strategic to not steal early on gifts. But he was saying he's like, man, I should have loaded it like before it got stolen. Just get like an empty gift card.
Ooh, that would have been so dirty.
I know at the church Christmas party, just swindle somebody. But okay, what do you think? Because we gotta wrap this up pretty much right now. Where are you thinking for food?
Right now, you know, freaking Chipotle is on my mind.
Seriously? Take everybody
honestly,
Chipotle.
what is it? It's Monday.
Yeah, but it is the break for a lot of people.
That is true.
So I mean, every night this week it's gonna be just higher than normal.
That's true. How do you guys feel about Smash Burger?
Smash sounds amazing. I was saying earlier, I was like, man, if we weren't college students, I would say Outback, just because
Ooh,
I forget who it was. It was some guy who doesn't pay for his own food. I'll say it that way. He uses Daddy's Chase Sapphire Rewards card, and he was clowning on Outback. He was like, "Why don't you get a better steak somewhere?" I was like, "I don't think you understand the value of like a $19 steak from Outback, and like you get
Outback's
all
good.
you get all the sides. Like for $19, that's a good steak. You know,
Yeah.
like value wise, all things considered, like yeah, it's not you're not paying. I think it was Jacob was also talking about this because he makes six figures now, which is just insane.
Jacob makes six figures.
Yeah,
That's how he can afford that 5-0.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
Dang,
saying.
good for
But he
him.
doesn't budget, so it's like if he loses his job, it's over.
Ooh. No
Every
savings.
time I see him, I was like, invest 6 paychecks out of the year, and you won't work again in 5 years. And he's like, well, I want to do stuff now. It's like his big thing is he'll get bored if he doesn't work. I was like, dude, but this amount of stress that you won't have, like just work at something else, you know. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's neither here nor there. He doesn't care.
he'll do all right.
Yeah, but he was saying he's like, yeah, I spent like I'm not gonna say how much he spent on steak in Scottsdale, but he's got a steak joint in Scottsdale. He's like, man, Outback is kind of bad. I was like, dude, like, don't talk to me about budgetary and what's like good value when you're buying a 5.0 right now. He also has a freaking 2022 BMW or 2019 something. He has 2 cars right now.
He is a fleet,
Yes,
a one-man fleet.
he's a fleet right now, but yeah, it was just nuts. I was like I went to Memphis, right? And I got ribs there, and it has ruined barbecue for me.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of like I don't get ribs anymore. I'll get brisket, right? Which is still good.
Ribs are so much money
Yeah,
for
not a
the
lot.
little amount of meat you
Mhm.
get.
Surprisingly, not stupid in Memphis. It was like I forget. It was like $16 for a full rack
That's
in Memphis.
freaking good.
Yeah, $16.99 for a full rack.
Dang, that's southern hospitality.
Dude,
I
that's
guess.
real. Okay,
Freaking-
so I flew from Memphis to Fort Worth to Phoenix, right? And then I
Yeah.
had to get a connecting flight to Tucson because they screwed up our flights. Anyway, that's another story. And I noticed people just got ruder as I moved west. Like people were less nice. I was like, geez, man, people kind of suck over in the west in terms of like just politeness.
I don't notice it as much.
It was
I'm
surprised.
coming from Chicago though, and people are kind of rude there. So
I was surprised. Because I've been told like, oh, the Southern hospitality, right? But I was surprised I noticed it as I left. I was like, geez, like man, people kind of.
I mean, were you thinking about it?
No, I realized it later when I was talking to my parents about the
Ah.
trip. I was like, yeah, people kind of got meaner as I got over here. It was like in hindsight.
Why were you in Memphis in the first place?
My cousin invited me to go to Graceland,
That's where
the King Elvis.
Elvis.
Yeah, it's the Elvis place. And she's kind of obsessive with male figures. First it was Harry Potter, and then it was Chris Evans, and then it was Robert Downey Jr., and then it was Tom Hiddleston, and now it's Elvis.
And she just went straight to the 50s.
Yeah, until it's not. Well, the
50s
Elvis movie came
heartthrob.
out with Austin Butler.
Oh yeah,
The Baz Luhrmann thing. Did you watch that?
I did not.
I got a headache from watching. It was so much. Like, okay, you know how in the first 12 minutes of a movie, the editing is really good. Like, there's a lot going on,
Uh huh.
and then it kind of chills out. It was that the
Yeah.
entire time.
Oh man.
So I was like, oh my! It never slowed down. It was just so much. But I mean, it's whatever. It was a decent movie. I like people are saying give him an Oscar for it. No, but yeah, we went to Graceland for that, and it was my grandparents took her. It was like a birthday gift. I was like, geez, that's a big birthday gift. I was like, give me some of that. I'll buy the better podcast setup. But yeah, she was doing Elvis stuff at like Sun Studios or something, and yeah, we all went to Graceland. She got the VIP tour. Me and my grandpa just got the normal tour because all right, it's Elvis. It's cool, but it's not VIP cool.
Yeah.
She got to hold some of like the belts that he wore, which is actually pretty neat, but it's not worth the VIP.
How old is your cousin?
She's like 1 year older than Jacob.
Oh, okay.
So however old, I don't know how old anyone is.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's okay because I got a free trip to Memphis.
She lives in Arizona?
Yeah, she was down in Tucson.
So you drove. Okay.
Yeah. So I had to drive down to Tucson to meet them for the flight. But me and my grandpa, he was like, I get that we're here for Elvis, but I'm here for the barbecue. So if you want to come with me, so we did the tour and pretty much like we did all the museum stuff there, which is actually really neat. All the suits are there.
Ooh.
Really cool actually. What we did like the normie version, very cool. The VIP version, I don't know about that, but we did all that, and then he was like, "All right, let's go get barbecue." So we
She got to lay in Elvis's bed too.
No, the upstairs was blocked off because he died up there. So
Oh.
yeah, he died doing drugs in his bathroom. Everyone's like, "You died
Classic.
in the toilet." It's like, no, he just died in the bathroom. Come on, that's where you do your drugs.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to get burgers here, so we will be signing off until Thursday because I think I have another person. So I have my throat heal before then.
Who's your next guest?
One of my friends from church, and he's like my brother. He has ADHD, so he's just a joy to talk to. Like, no one makes me laugh like ADHD people
Oh yeah.
because it's not a bad thing. It's just their brain is the complete opposite of mine. So the way they formulate conversation is I can never expect it. And so, like, if you meet an ADHD person, try to play the random game with them, which is you have to name objects or things that have nothing to do with the last object or thing.
Ooh.
So if I said trombone, you have to name something within like 5 seconds. That's completely different from that.
Trumpet.
So that you would lose. So it'd be like trombone, Volkswagen Beetle, paperclip, Apple, like, I don't know, Kanye West, just stuff like that. And nothing you say like before can be the same. But yeah, I'm very excited to have him on there. But we had a good time. It was good.
Nice long podcast.
You settled in better than most people do
Ah.
because the whole hearing yourself in your ears kind of throws people off. But you did the Wendy's drive-through, so you get it.
Oh yeah.
We didn't even talk about Wendy's, dude.
Oh shoot.
We'll do that another time.
That'll be a Wendy's podcast for sure.
I can. You don't have to be in person. I can get you on Discord.
Well, Raynell and
Oh my.
in here.
Dude. All right. We got to get out of here.